This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Follow me.
Called the waters above the heavens, or the Hashemayim, and then he called the waters below the seas. So we have to understand it. In order to even get outer space, you got to go inner space, which is going into the sea. We're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of creatures and species that we have never came into contact with.
Wow.
Thousands, and then, they haven't even been to the bottom of the ocean.
How deep do you feel like the bottom of the ocean is?
Man, miles and hundreds of miles, man. They be lying. Hundreds of miles. So for instance, it was a scientist that got killed. He got killed. Look this up. He went to the bottom of the ocean, and he went so far that he hit a part. He went in the ocean and found a lake in the ocean, a lake.
One of the most amazing things that I have ever seen in the bottom of the ocean. It was while filming for Blue Planet. It was in the Gulf of Mexico. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm already underwater. And we went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down in it. We literally bounced off, and as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Coincidentally, a few days after this aired on the television that he had made this discovery, when him and his friend were flying the helicopter, it exploded.
Okay, so when people continually ask me to show them the edge, how? Because right inside this one little ice ring right here is the known lands, okay? Outside that, you've got the Ancestral Republic, which is right here. I'm sure you've heard of them if you've read The Navigator That Crossed the Ice Wall. But when someone like Elon Musk says he wants to go to Mars, land of Mars, right here, human colony, okay? So let me show you a little bit of something. Let me show you something. lands of the Anunnaki, right here. That's one of our controllers. You see how close they are to us? How easy it would be to reach us? And here's another one. The lands of the custodians. They're pretty close too. But I'm saying I'd guesstimate that at maybe 60, 70,000 miles. A lot easier to fly that distance than to come from outer space, right? But let's look around here. We got lands of Neptune. Here's the planets, right? Lands of Neptune. Lands of Venus. Lands of Saturn. Lands of Jupiter. And inside the lands of Jupiter, you got the lands of Zeus. So now we start getting into some mythology here. Pegasus. Lands of Hercules. Cassiopeia. Even a galaxy. Look at there. Andromeda. Right? But if you look at the edge of this map, it's cut off. So this plane is much, much, much larger than this. There's supposedly 178 domes. This isn't hardly any of them. You know, this is just a small portion of that. But
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, originally a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy in cooperation with a number of academic institutions.
HARP is comprised of 180 antennas, approximately 72 feet tall, linked together to function as one giant steerable antenna. Steerable because it can aim millions of watts of ELF waves into one tiny patch of the atmosphere.
The amount of energy we're talking about here is 3.6 million watts, injecting their entire output into a spot that's about 12 miles across by about 2.5 miles deep by about 90 miles up.
This is where HARP is pointing. It's an area located roughly 300 miles from Anchorage. The U.S. military says HARP is merely being used to study the physical and electrical properties and behavior of the ionosphere for both civilian and defense purposes. Another theory has surfaced. The intense energy
Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And, as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you. It's raining. That's unbelievable. Oh. NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
I was stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana, as a missile launch officer, monitoring and controlling 10 nuclear-tipped Minuteman missiles. I got a call that morning that they were seeing strange lights flying in the sky. And I got another call subsequent to that call, and this time it was a more intense tone in the guard's voice. It was very clearly very frightened. He said there was a bright, glowing red object hovering outside the front gate. It was oval-shaped. He had all the other guards out there with their weapons drawn. Right after that call, I woke up my commander and told him about the phone calls. As I was telling him about the phone calls, my weapons started going down, one after the other. They went into a no-go condition, what we call a no-go condition. They were unlaunchable. We lost somewhere between 6 and 8 weapons that morning. Within minutes of having received that second phone call.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
How are you today, sir?
Okay, how's it going?
Fine, thank you. Thank you, sir. Here you are, sir. Thank you. Hey, buddy. You gonna pay for that or what? Look, buddy, I don't want no hassle today. Either pay for it or put it back.
Can you believe it? She didn't even go to Lamar's class. I told her, for yourself and for the...
Know those 3D glasses that are red on one side and blue on the other, and you get them in movie theaters? He cut them up so that the lenses were separate, and he stapled them together, and he taped it on top of his lens for his iPhone. And what that did, I'm not sure he understood how that was happening, what was going on, but he somehow knew to do that. I don't know how he knew to do that without knowing what he was doing, but he taped them on top of the lens. The red lets in infrared. The red and the blue together blocks out almost all visible light. And so the light that can get through is going to be the infrared stuff. There's not much ultraviolet light in the atmosphere, so it's really mostly infrared. And so what happens is the phone gears up its automatic gain control to try to get any light what at all. But there is no visible light that's coming in because of the red and the blue together. So what he ends up getting is mostly the mostly the infrared. And he started taking videos with his iPhone with this makeshift thing of the Washington, D.C. area, and he started to get a whole bunch of UFOs. Interesting configurations, different shapes and everything. So the Washington, D.C. area was like filled with them. And these were things on demand, any 10-minute period that he would do it. He came to us with Excel spreadsheets, which had aeronautical data, all types of everything, the analysis of it, how you analyze distance, speed, size, everything. And then he came to us with
Man can see UFO by looking through dicyclone glass, same glass that's used in the glasses in the movie They Live. UFOs use technology that bends light round their craft, which cloaks it from the world and makes it invisible to the naked eye.
Прикол. Хоба нахуй. Вот она, блядь, инопланетная стекляшка. Кусок стекла, блядь. Вот что это за хуйня. Это, блядь, какая-то технология, похоже, которая нахуй это... как сказать-то? Скрывает, короче... делает видимым. Через это стекло, вот, специальное стекло. Какая-то невидимость, видать, включена. Так, я, короче, сейчас ближе схожу, посмотрю. Так, ну-ка, сейчас. Вот это, блядь, прикол. Блядь, ну нету ничего. Пиздец, нету. Вот он нахуй. Вот так вот нахуй вся эта хуйня и происходит. Извиняюсь за маты, но, блядь, других слов у меня нету. Вот как этот мир работает, люди. Оп, 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 оп. Вот такая вот хуйня, ребята. Не знаю, как там видно, не видно, но на экране как бы ярко, плохо вижу, но вижу. Убираю стекло, оп, оп. Вот тебе, блядь, кусок стекла. Кусочек стекла, блядь. Пойду еще ближе подойду.
We've all been told there's no land at the North Pole. But if we look at a live wind finder view, we can see in the center of the Earth there is something large diverting the wind. What is this, you may ask? Well, I'm about to show you. Just go ahead and type in on Google, old map of the North Pole, and all these old maps will come up from the 1500s. And here's what they look like. Look right here, made in 1595. Earth map North Pole. And if we look in the center of the map here, we have what is called the Rupus Nigra. Rupus Nigra was believed to be a huge magnetic rock located at the North Pole. This is why all the compasses point north. The Rupus Nigra was 33 miles in size. which is literally bigger than most cities, which is why it's able to block the wind like this at the North Pole. And what does Rupus Negro mean? It means BlackRock. Who's the largest investment company in the world, owning $10 trillion in assets? Oh yeah, it's BlackRock. Where do you think they got their name from? Look at all the companies they own. It's funny how all the early NASA Satelloon footage looks like this, with some big black hole in the center. Nothing to see here, guys. If you guys didn't know, this is literally the mountain that's spoken about all throughout the Bible. This is Mount Zion, which is located directly above the Garden of Eden, which is why you see these 4 rivers coming out of it. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. If we look in the book of Ezekiel, thou hast been in the Garden of Eden. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. So we know the holy mountain of God is located in the Garden of Eden. The Rupus Niger is the holy mountain of God. Look what it says here, beautiful in elevation, which means it's very high. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion in the far north, which is why you can literally see the very top of it poking out through the clouds. No other mountain in the world does this. God's word is true, once again. If this gets 100k likes, I'll go into depth in another part where we talk about what it's like there, from people who have visited there themselves. God bless you guys. Don't forget to like and follow, and I'll see you all in the next one.
In plain sight,
Well,
Hollow Earth
outside
opening.
is frightful, but that fire is delightful. Since we've no place to go.
Watch this rocket hit the firmament.
Air Force Base. These cigar-shaped ships were over a mile in length. One of them landed on the airport landing strip area. When it touched the ground, it created an earthquake like about a 3.5 to 4.0. It terrified everybody in the area. The back of this craft opened up, and several hundred young men with huge, heavy weapons came out of two sides of the ship and formed a protection line around the ship. And the people at that Air Force base, the commander, had a meeting with the individuals that were aboard this ship. And this particular race that landed those ships and that are seen in these huge cigar-shaped ships, they are a black race. They look like African Americans. They were about 6'4", 6'5". These tight-fitting black leather outfits on, and the weapons that they came out of the ships with, they were huge weapons. And if you've ever seen a race of people that were conquerors, that had never been conquered, they've got this look about them of arrogance. That is exactly what these extraterrestrials had, and they informed these people at this American Air Force base that not only were they from a militaristic society, but they had controlled a large portion of the galaxy that we live in.
The next disaster is coming. The time to get ready is now. Make a plan. Identify meetup locations and people you'll need to contact. Put your contact list in your wallet, on your phone, and somewhere visible in your home. Build a kit. Store enough food and water for 3 days. Don't forget your pets. And consider buying a premium kit. Keep at least 7 days of medication on hand.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible.